for pre-need, funerals, burials, or cremation since 1975. Curtis & Son Funeral Home, Sylacauga, Childersburg. I want to tell you a quick story. Yesterday afternoon, I worked for Curtis & Son Funeral Home, and we were called to Bill Nichols Veterans Home down in Alexander City on the death of Mr. James Blankenship. And so I go on the call, and it was one of the most moving times in my career in the funeral home business, because it's a veterans home. Military veterans are there at that nursing facility. And Mr. James Blankenship, a decorated Vietnam veteran, had passed away. And I tell you this because I was so impressed with how they operated down at Bill Nichols, because they draped a flag on Mr. Blankenship's body. They also played taps, and all of the nurses and all of those employees stood at attention as we rolled the gurney down the hallway to the outside. And it was just so beautiful. And we appreciate all our nurses and doctors and CNAs and all those people that make it work every day at our medical facilities. And I told you that to say this. There are a lot of proud Americans in our country. And they were standing at attention as Mr. James Blankenship was rolled away from Bill Nichols State Veterans Home in Alexander City. Those arrangements to be announced later on today by Curtis & Son Funeral Home, North Chapel. Mrs. Hilda Faye Sumner. Mrs. Hilda Faye Sumner graveside service will be on Thursday at 10 a.m. from Evergreen Cemetery, Community Funeral Home, Sylacauga, directing. Mrs. Candace Holzclaw died October 6th. Funeral arrangement to be announced also by Community Funeral Home. Graveside service for longtime Sylacaugan Blaine Lambert, age 61, will be Thursday at 3 o'clock from Evergreen Cemetery, with the Reverend Freddie Edwards officiating. Mr. Lambert passed away Monday, October 5th at his residence. His father, Curtis Lambert, and his mother, Shirley Lambert, both deceased now. Visitation will be Thursday for Blaine from 2 until 2:45 at Radley Smith Funeral Home. Memorial messages may be sent to the family at radleysmith.com. Radley Smith Funeral Home in Sylacauga in charge of the arrangements. Graveside service for Mr. Curtis Owens will be this morning at 11 a.m. from Curtis & Son Funeral Home, from Evergreen Memorial Cemetery. Mr. Curtis Owens, graveside this morning at 11 in Evergreen, Community Funeral Home, Sylacauga, directing. And a celebration of life for Mike Hatchett, age 70, will be Saturday at 11 a.m. from Canaan Baptist Church in Bessemer, Alabama. In lieu of flowers, you may make donations in memory of Mike to Canaan Baptist Church in Bessemer. Mike, former resident of Sylacauga and graduate of B.B. Comer in 1968, a football player and just a really good guy. He passed away on Sunday in his residence in Bessemer. McCullough Funeral Home, directing. Claudine Davis Baggett, age 94, of Talladega, died October 5th. Graveside service Thursday at 1 p.m. from Lincoln City Cemetery, Talladega Funeral Home, directing. Jerome Garrett, age 64, died October 5th. Terry's Metropolitan Mortuary announcing the arrangements. Graveside service for Belinda Jones, age 59, is 2 o'clock Thursday at St. Campbell Cemetery. Visitation today, 2 till 7 at Terry's Mortuary in Talladega. Online, condolences at terrysmortuary.com. Terry's Metropolitan Mortuary, directing. And Terry's Mortuary announcing the arrangements for Joanne Turner, age 71, who died October 6th. Funeral arrangements for Master Kason Tillen Swain Wiggins will be announced by S.M. Goodson Funeral Home in Talladega. Funeral service for Mr. Travis Glenn Blake, age 63, will be Thursday at 11:30 from Alexander City Methodist Church, with the Reverend Wayne Cowhick officiating. Burial in the Woods Presbyterian Cemetery. The family receiving friends 5 till 7 tonight at the funeral home. Mr. Blake died October 5th at Russell Medical Center. He was a member of the Alexander City Methodist Church. He was also a master chef for all the church dinners. Memorial messages may be sent to the family at radleyfuneralhome.com. Radley Funeral Home, Alexander City, directing. Mrs. Mary Ballou of Rockford died Monday at her residence. Wright's Funeral Home, Alexander City, announcing. And funeral service for Mrs. Bertha Leonard Harrison, age 90, will be noon Thursday at Wright's Funeral Home Chapel, with interment to follow in the Good Grove Baptist Church Cemetery. Ms. Harrison died on Sunday at her residence. Visitation is today, 4 until 6 p.m. at Wright's Funeral Home in Alexander City. Wright's Funeral Home directing that service. These obituaries this morning are brought to you by Curtis & Son Funeral Home, the North Chapel on Highway 21 in Sylacauga, and the Childersburg Chapel on Highway 280 in Childersburg for pre-need funerals, burials, and cremation since 1975. Curtis & Son Funeral Home, Sylacauga, Childersburg.